me tell y'all their little story, man, and it goes a little something like this.
Earlier on, you mentioned one of the things that we had these days, it was when we were talking about the gripes, was that there was this disconnect from the people who are maybe requiring the service or authorizing the service and the people who are actually functioning the service. And you said it's because we weren't in the same room. And I just wanted to drill down on that and say if we were talking metaphorically or were we talking about because of something like the pandemic where everything is virtual now?
It's all around. So it's operationally, metaphorically, we're not in the room at the same time. But I think let me give you something about communication that we don't do. The commitment to really be a better communicator. A lot of times we just don't get each other when we're inside of a room because you're not listening to the folks that are inside the room. Another thing that happens in our industry is that a lot of times I'm not listening because I'm so used to a police officer. I have a radio, I have a computer in front of me, I have people I'm dealing with in front of me, I got, mom and dad screaming on the side and everything else that's going on, right? So sometimes we got so used to that now you're in a meeting with a partner and they're trying to explain to you what their needs are. They're trying to explain to you what really hurts them. How can you help me get my business moving faster? Because right now security is an impediment to what I'm trying to do. We just don't do those things. And I actually have a magic for that too, Elijah, on partnerships. If you don't mind me bringing, okay, here we go. So
throw it out.
All right, M for magic, right? On partnerships, it's manage our partners' concerns. I used to say to people all the time, friendship walks. I didn't get a job one time because I said, we should start with friendship walks. When they asked me how do you deal with partners, I swear to God, because the person that was interviewing me was a Fed. I love them too. And I have many of them. But she looked at me and she said, you're kidding me, right? And I said, oh, let me finish my thought, right? And so I knew then that there was no way I was ever going to get the job. Right. But through friendship walk, so I was adamant. about two things. I was adamant about blocking 1 hour in the morning and 1 hour in the afternoon, and I would switch every week. The 1 hour in the morning for me was to just walk amongst my people, not to talk about work. I didn't care about that. It was about building relationships and individualizing my relationships with each one of them. I walked their post, walked whatever with them, and it was great. The afternoon was my friendship walk with my partners. I'd walk around the backstage areas. I'd go everywhere, and I would go to their offices. Hey, what's up, Tom, Jerry, Michelle, and everything good, right? Okay. I was adamant about blocking those two things out on my calendar, and I would switch them. Every week I'd switch them. Day shift would be my partner walk. Afternoon shift was my team walk. But because I was able to understand their concerns, I was walking with them in their business. So they would tell me what hurt them. So the A for magic is anticipate our partner's expectations. So by then I was able to anticipate whatever they needed because I was Inculcate. I was in there with them and what they were trying to do. So we don't do that enough. A lot of people just lock themselves in the office and I answer emails all day and that's it. We're going to return to office here very soon. A lot of companies are already doing it. We better start thinking about how we're going to do it this time around because it's a restart. We're pressing a restart button. That's how I feel in our industry. It's a restart button. Let's do it right. G, give value to their business. Just like you tell somebody that, hey, nice shoes, because you want to be nice. Why don't you tell them how well they're doing in their business? You may not know anything about it, but you're a human being and they have hearts too, right? And so if you tell them, hey, man, that was outstanding what you did there. The way you guys were able to get all the wiring in, man, that was great. You made our job, by the way, on the security side a lot easier. Think about those things, right? It's an easy concept, just telling somebody how nice their shirt is. So think about that. Inculcate trust and respect. We have to give them trust and respect first. We do the old trust and verify. That's what we do in our field, But they run the operation. We're support staff. Yeah, we're a team. We're all together. But trust them first, and then that will come across in return. You'll see it happens. You just got to give it some time. And C, commit only to what you can do and follow through. We commit to a lot of things that we cannot do up front, right? The great thing about what I learned in a Disney company was that I'm only going to commit to what I can do. So it doesn't matter if it's a guest or a partner. If they come to me and say, Carlos, I need help doing this, and the other, my answer is never a no. Never a no up front. And we need to learn that in security. To never a no up front. At that time, it's more like, hey, that sounds like an amazing idea. I agree with you. But let me see if I can get it done. Hey, can you give me a little time to get back to you? Right? And you only follow through with what you can. So that's the second part. But don't forget to get back to them either. So what happens is that we're calling everybody trying to figure out how we can make this happen. I used to say within an hour, you hit them back. It's almost like a sales job. Within an hour, you hit them back. Hey, still working on that? I'm going to get back to you. I promise you, I got you. Right? Because now you're keeping them in touch and they're not creating in their own minds what your response is going to be because you're keeping them in touch. So that's the magic on that partnership piece. Hopefully that answered, Elijah. Man, that was a great question.
No, I loved it. And again, I think, what our listeners are going to get from this podcast, aside from your obvious enthusiasm, is the fact that we take these concepts that really are simple concepts, but because everyone is so involved in their own particular bubble, the things that they're doing about their day, they never stop back and look at it from a different perspective. And they're like, oh, that makes sense.
Let me tell y'all out there a little story, man, and it goes a little something like this.